Good afternoon, my beloved friends. It is with a joyous heart that I am here to join with you today. I feel so honored and blessed for the kind words that were spoken before and for the opportunity for me to go down memory lane of my physical life and to think about and contemplate it once again. I was not totally aware when I walked the earth plane of all the spiritual truths that I know now. And I realized, as was said today, that I did choose that life with the parents that were so against the work that I would be doing to help to inspire me to be the light into the world that I apparently accomplished. It is, it was not an easy path to walk, but I'm glad that I did it. And as I look down, or back, I should say, on it now, I can see that as I was talking about being the spiritual farmer and planting seeds, that the seeds that I did plant grew and blossomed into something much further and much more complex than I ever dreamed that it would. And for that, I'm truly grateful. So it is difficult for me to even express to you the gratitude that I have for the thoughts and the energy that you've sent to me. And that little boy from the backwoods of North Carolina could have such an impact on the lives of so many people. For you are the nucleus of a group of people, but there are other seeds that do not choose to participate in the moment, but they still carry the knowledge that I imparted to them. And their lives have been impacted by that knowledge, even though they do not attend these sessions. So it is humbling to me to have been the impetus for all of this. And I just wish to thank you for honoring me and remembering me, but more importantly, for being the people who are walking the path of spirituality, who are spreading light into the world, who are spreading truth into the world. Because the times that you are walking in now needs the way showers, the ones who hold their torch of knowledge high to lead other people to the truth, just like I did during my life. So I am most grateful to you for walking your path. I may have guided your beginning steps, but you are the leaders now on your own path. You have taken over figuring out the course of which way to go. And yes, you are open to our guidance from our dimension, but it's still your decision to listen to that guidance, to seek that guidance, and to follow that guidance. For there are those who open their minds to us, hear our words, and then do whatever they want and ignore what we say. That's all part of free will, and that is all your choice. But I am grateful for you for using your free will to follow the voices of spirit and to be on the path that you are on. Thank you so very much. We'll now take your questions.
Thank you, Carl. And we are so grateful for you being here for us. First question is from Carol. There are some people who are experienced in government and banking that say that President Trump is just keeping people happy and placated by putting in place some of the things he said he would. But they say behind the scenes that Musk is in control and he's setting up a control grid to completely control the population with digital IDs and other methods to track everything we do and more. Is this true? Thank you.
You must understand that the times you are living in is truly a tug of war between the forces of light and dark. While your current president is trying to lead you to a more enlightened path, there are those that are resisting him. There are those that are trying to keep things the way they are and to keep their tight hands on the control that they've had for so long. His mission will not be an easy one to accomplish because of this resistance. The man that you are speaking of, who it is claimed that he is working behind the scenes for the forces to keep things the way they are, is not the case. But that does not mean that there aren't people who are trying to bring about that digital currency that you're talking about. That tug of war is very much going on. So it is something that you do need to keep your eyes on, because you need to understand that we cannot, especially in these times, give you ironclad predictions of the future. That was never possible. There are so many variations and possibilities in the quantum field, as you know of it, that it is difficult to be able to predict what will exactly happen here or there. In the big picture of things, let me explain it to you this way. You are all, I assume, familiar with getting into an airplane and traveling from one place to another. And as you ascend and go and fly very high over the earth, you cannot see all the little details of each person that's on the ground because you're too high up to see that. Yet the plane lands and you get to where you're going. We can predict the end result, but the little details in between during that tug of war between the light and the dark, we cannot predict, we cannot say, because we're too far away. There's too many variables. We're too high up in the air, to use the airplane analogy. So there's no way to predict the exactness of any of these details. But we can tell you that when the change has finally occurred, the earth will be in a much better place. It will be in a spiritual place. It will be in a place that you will not hardly recognize, where you have come to, because so much has been changed. The people, the tyrants in control of your governments, of your religions, of your wanting to control your minds, they will all have lost that tug of war. But we can't tell you who wins each and every little battle as this progresses. Do you understand?
Thank you. And the next question is from Karen Escher. How much does Trump and J.D. Vance know about the atrocities Zelensky allows in Ukraine? How high does Trump's intelligence go? I mean, intel and communication. Where's he getting that from? Not Earth humans. Thank you.
The situation that you refer to again is one of these tug of wars between the light and the dark. There are, well, let me rephrase that. The situation you're talking about is more a tug of war between different factions of the darkness. And it is something that we do not wish to go into because of the negative vibration of things. Both sides of that conflict are not in the light. And it is Trump who's trying to realize that this conflict needs to come to an end in order to help stop this negative situation from existing, and to help bring more light into the people that live in both of those countries, because they are caught up in the propaganda and ideologies are being projected to them. They think that they are doing something right on that is right and just, when actually they are just being manipulated by different fractions of the forces of darkness. It is something that is unavoidable at this time, because you are living in these exact moments where the curtain is being opened up and the darkness is being unveiled for everyone to see and understand. So, in the end, this is all a very good thing, because people will understand all the atrocities and everything that has been going on, and when that is exposed, people will start to question, why was this allowed to happen? Who was in control of this? Should these people be accountable who were in control? So accountability is coming to all of this as the light exposes the darkness, and the light will eventually obliviate the darkness. But it is a process. It is something that will take some time for it to happen. It is not something that will happen immediately. It will take several years for it to eventually work out. And this is just one example of the unveiling of the darkness. There are many different subjects, there are many different places where this will be occurring, including what you know as the Vatican, that their darkness will also be exposed as their foundations will crumble shortly. Do you understand?
Okay, thank you. And the next question's from Lou Vera on the same subject. Will Ukraine defeat Russia? Thank you.
What will be happening is that there will be no defeat. There will just be an end to the fighting. There will be an end to the conflict, and both sides will go back to where they were. That's not to say that the borders between the countries might return to exactly where it was before the conflict, where it will not. But it will come to an end, and people will begin to understand what was going on and who was profiting from the whole situation. Because there are some people who wanted this to continue because it was very profitable for them to have it continue. And that will be exposed as well. Do you understand?
Thank you. Um, I have another question excuse me, from Karen E. She's curious about Gene Hackman, his wife and dog, all found dead. I felt like Gene was a good guy. Did he get assassinated slash silenced?
What happened to the entities that you are asking about is truly very sad. For what happened is that his wife died of natural causes, but she died quite a while ago, and it devastated the man so much that he could not go on. He totally fell apart. He could not even reach out for help. He did not inform anybody of what was going on. He just, you would say, emotionally disintegrated. And he became so stressed and upset that the pacemaker in his heart malfunctioned, and he too made his transition. You will find out that was not foul play that happened, but it was a very sad situation that occurred. Do you understand?
Thank you. Next question is from Carol. We've been expecting the global currency revaluation and the implementation of Nasara Gesara for some time now. Do you see it as truth, and is it imminent? Is our new, quote, rainbow currency in the banks now, just waiting for the go ahead to be released? Thank you.
The currency change that you are speaking of will be occurring when it is deemed the appropriate time. The powers that be realize that, and we are talking about the ones that are more enlightened, that in order for things to go ahead and proceed without everything crumbling to disintegration, certain seeds need to be planted, and certain preparations have to be made. And this is part of what your president is doing at the moment. He is trying to prepare. Well, think of it this way. You are coming very much into the spring season, and many of you will go and want to plant some vegetables. You cannot just take your finger and stick a seed in the ground. You need to prepare the ground in order to receive the seed. You need to break it up. You need to perhaps put some water in it and so forth in order to prepare the ground to put the seed in so that the seed can grow. And in effect, that's what your president is doing right now. He's preparing the soil so that when the currency comes through, it will go through with the least amount of disruption than it would if the preparation wasn't being made. Do you understand?
Okay, thank you. And that is our last question.
I I wish to again express my appreciation to you all. But I also need to say a few words to inspire you to continue your journey. For the path, the time that you are living right now will present many challenges. It has been forecast that during the end times there'll be signs and wonders. You had a sign yesterday where all the planets were lined up in the heavens to announce to you that a change is coming. This change that we've been speaking about is not something that is just like buying a new dress or a new shirt and taking the old one off and putting the new one on. This is a change that is truly going to be like earthquakes of the soul. Everything is going to be changing. And I need you to understand that. And I need you to prepare yourselves for turbulence. I do not want you to fear what's coming. I want you to bless what's coming. I want you to walk into it with the knowledge that you have. Like, well, I was going to say like soldiers into battle, and then what came to mind is that song, March Onward, Christian Soldiers, and how ironic that should not be said. But unfortunately, that's what popped into was almost popping out of my mouth. But you need to prepare yourself as a soldier would prepare yourself with knowledge. Your armor is the knowledge that you are gleaning. Your knowledge is the use of the consciousness gathering and knowing how to become and identify as the divine crystalline energy. That is your weapons, my dears. That is your weapons to walk forward in, to walk in your energy, to walk as the God that you are, to create and manifest whatever you need in the days to come. For the days to come will be challenging. But my friends, you have the most powerful tool there is. You have the atomic weapon, if you want to use that term, of what there is to proceed. You know that you are God's. You know how to identify that as God. You just need to take the doubt out of your mind and to live in that knowingness without a shadow of a doubt and to do what you need to do in the moment. You need to remember that. You need not to allow yourself the human quality of fear, of doubt. For when those human emotions appear in your consciousness, it is up to you to say, oh, I'm feeling fearful, and throw it away and identify as the divine crystalline energy and identify as that and know the power of that and feel the power of that. You must understand when you do the consciousness gathering exercise, it is just that. It's an exercise. Think of yourself going to the gym and taking a 5-pound weight and using it to build up your muscle. And then all of a sudden, you're using a 10-pound weight. And eventually, you're using a 60-pound weight. That's what you're doing with the consciousness gathering. You are building up that response to identify as divine crystalline energy and be your power. It takes a split second to do it, but you need that practice to do it in the split second. For many of you, it takes you a good portion of that recording in order to get there. But the more you do it, the quicker you can bring that response so that when you need to do it in an instant, you can. At Christmas time, I talked about going into the energy as a flicker of light. And that's basically what I'm talking about now. It takes less than a second to bring it about if you're practiced and you know how to do it. So we encourage you to use that recording so that whenever something happens, whether you are not feeling well, whether you are emotionally upset, whether you're having a very bad day and all these negative thoughts are surrounding you, all you need to do is recognize that. Stop. Identify as divine crystalline energy. Get yourself back into that vibration that you get into when you hear the whole recording, and you just put yourself there, and you are there. And all those other things have disappeared. That is your strongest tool to use in the days to come. To be your divine crystalline energy and to be in that power. For when you are in that power, it's not only you that are there, it is your connection to us. So if there is a decision to be made and you reach out and ask us what to do, we can respond. You can just take a breath or two and listen for the response. If you do not hear it, you may feel it. You may see it, but the response will be there and you'll know how to proceed. The problem is you're used to living in your humanity, and your human condition has been programmed to be in the fear, to seek out authority figures, to be in the control of someone else. It's your go-to method, and you forget that you have this powerful tool. My friends, we're coming to the times where you cannot forget that anymore. You need to remember it. You need to employ it. You can switch, you can claim and identify as divine crystalline energy 50 times a day because you are always that energy. It's just your human daily lives draws you away from it because you're so used to being drawn away from it. Theoretically, you're always it. Not theoretically. You should be living in your divine energy all the time. And when we get into the age of knowledge, you will be. So I ask you to remember that, for that is so essential to what you need to do to be prepared. You have been advised to prepare physically for your physical needs. We are asking you to prepare for your spiritual needs in the days to come. For the challenges will be multidimensional, multi-layered. So please remember this message. It is very, very important and essential in the days to come. It is time for me to begin to withdraw. But my friends, remember, we are just a thought away. But you need to be able to listen to us. Use the tools that you have because they are very important and very powerful. My greatest and deepest love goes to all of you. So